I still remember the exact moment I decided I couldn't keep it in anymore. The night had been suffocating, the kind where the silence between us feels heavier than any argument. I sat on the edge of the bed, my hands twisting in my lap, staring at the floorboards as if they held the courage I had lost somewhere along the way. And then, finally I spoke. "James, there's something I need to tell you." He looked up from the laptop resting on his knees, his eyes tired but alert. The soft yellow glow of the bedside lamp made the lines around his eyes sharper, harsher. He had this way of looking at me that made me feel seen, but not in a comforting way. More like he could see through me. "What is it?" he asked, voice calm, too calm. That calmness made my stomach twist. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. It happened that night." He raised an eyebrow. "What night?" My fingers trembled. "The night you were out of town, at the conference." James closed the laptop slowly, his hands resting on it, and leaned back against the headboard. His expression softened just a fraction, and I wanted to take it back, cancel the confession that had been clawing at me for months. But the words were already spilling, uncontrollable. I didn't mean for it to happen. I never thought." My voice cracked and tears pricked my eyes. "I cheated on you." He said it. The words hung in the air, heavy, almost tangible. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in, and I couldn't breathe. For a long moment James didn't move. He just stared at me, his eyes unreadable. I wanted him to scream, to yell, to cry, but he didn't. His silence was worse than any rage I could have imagined. Finally he spoke, and the sound of his voice destroyed me. "I see." That was it. 2 words. Not a question, not an accusation. Just a simple, bone-crushing acknowledgement. My chest tightened. "James, please, I can explain." "No," he said, cutting me off gently but firmly. "I don't think I need an explanation. I think I needed honesty, and it seems like we've been failing at that for a long time." I felt my knees give way, sinking into the mattress. "I didn't want to hurt you," I whispered, my hands shaking. I was lonely, and I made a terrible mistake. "I love you, I swear I do." James ran a hand through his hair, exhaling slowly. "Do you know what's worse than the act itself?" he asked, voice low. "It's that this changes how I see you, how I see us. I trusted you. I trusted us." The words were like ice down my spine. I had imagined every possible reaction in the weeks I'd been avoiding this moment, but nothing had prepared me for the quiet devastation in his voice. I tried again, but the words faltered. He stood, moving to the window, his back to me. The city lights outside flickered through the blinds, casting a jagged pattern across his broad shoulders. I wanted to reach out, to hold him, to make him forgive me somehow, but the distance between us felt too vast. "Why?" he asked finally, not turning around. Was it about her? Was it about me? I shook my head, though I doubted he could see. "It wasn't about her. It wasn't about you. I felt invisible, like we were drifting apart, and I panicked." He didn't respond immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice was quieter, almost resigned. "So, in your panic, you chose to betray the person who loved you most. Do you understand how that feels?" "I do," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I understand, and I hate myself for it every day. I wanted to tell you so badly, but I was terrified. Terrified of losing you." James turned then, and for a moment our eyes met. I thought I saw the faintest glimmer of hurt, but it was buried beneath a wall I didn't know I could breach. "You've lost me," he said, and the finality in his tone made the room spin. "James, please," I begged. "I don't want this to be the end. I'll do anything. Counseling, space, whatever you need. Just, please don't leave me like this." He shook his head slowly, and I could see the anguish on his face, the kind of pain I had caused, the kind I could never take back. "It's not about leaving. It's about trust. You've broken something I don't think we can fix overnight. Maybe ever." The words fell like stones on my heart. I had always imagined him yelling, screaming, accusing, but this quiet, calm devastation was far worse. It was the end of innocence, the end of a life I had taken for granted. I sat there, trembling, tears streaming down my face, feeling every memory, the laughter, the late-night talks, the quiet mornings we had shared, shatter into fragments. James sat back down eventually, but not next to me. He sat across the bed, his hands clasped together, staring at the floor. The distance between us was physical and emotional, and I realized with a sickening clarity that I had created a chasm I didn't know how to bridge. "I need time," he said after a long pause. "Time to think, to feel, to understand what this means for us." I nodded, barely able to form words. "I understand. Take all the time you need. We'll wait. I'll wait forever if I have to." He gave a faint, almost imperceptible shake of his head. "I don't know if waiting will help. Sometimes some things just stay broken." I wanted to scream, to plead, to make him see that I was repentant, that I was still the person he had married. But I couldn't. The reality of my betrayal was too heavy, too real, and I finally understood that love alone might not be enough to fix what I had destroyed. Days passed in silence. The apartment felt hollow, echoing with unspoken words and shattered trust. I watched him from across the room sometimes, wondering if he would ever forgive me, wondering if the warmth in his eyes had died completely. And then, one night, as I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, he came to the bed. Not with anger, not with accusations, but with a quiet, weary determination. "I've thought a lot," he said softly. "About us, about what happened, and what it means. I don't know if I can ever fully forgive you, but I do know that I still love you. Love doesn't just vanish because of one night, but it's fragile now. We have to rebuild. Carefully, piece by piece." I wanted to collapse into his arms, to tell him I would do anything to make it right. But I also knew that rebuilding trust would be a long, uncertain road. It wouldn't be easy, and there were no guarantees. "I'll do it," I whispered, voice trembling. "I'll do whatever it takes. I'll spend every day making it up to you." He nodded, but the shadows under his eyes and the stiffness in his shoulders told me that forgiveness would be a journey, not a destination. That night we held each other tightly, but even in that embrace, I could feel the fragile cracks in the foundation of our love. I had revealed what happened that night, and his reaction had completely destroyed me. But in that destruction, there was also a strange, fragile hope. A hope that maybe, just maybe, love could survive even the deepest betrayal. But only if we were willing to confront the truth, face the pain, and rebuild what had been broken together. And so, I began the hardest journey of my life. Not away from him, but toward him, step by fragile step, hoping that one day, the trust one had shattered could be pieced back together.